Greetings and salutations. Welcome, folks, to the Shred Geek Show live from Houston, Texas, NASA Studios. How are you guys doing this evening? Hey, Connor Rocks, what's going on? You guys want to go ahead and report in on the stream when you come in and where you're from? That'd be really cool. I started a little bit later than usually because last time it apparently had added a whole bunch of stuff to the beginning of the actual replay, and I ended up having to trim it down because it was like 20 minutes of looping at the very beginning of it before everything kicked in. So yeah, just go ahead and report on in, you know, where you're from, and somebody has a Kiesel in the house. All right, Connor Rocks, way to go. So that Zeus is working out for you? Yeah, fretboard cleanse. What type of fretboard do you have on that? Because if you have maple, you don't want to use that lemon oil. So I'm told. I think I've got, well, this one's maple. I got my Jason Becker out for today, for today's show. So you really can't see him. He's behind the Shred Geek over here. Very cool. Well, today we're going to go ahead and do a little gear demo on the Shred Geek. I'll have the Jason Becker, the JB06X in presence as well, as I go ahead and play around with the 11 rack. And appreciate you guys coming in on a Tuesday instead of the planned originally for Wednesday. Turns out the Yankees are in town, and I got season tickets partially for the season, and one of my tickets was for tomorrow night's game against the Yankees, and so I can't be at the game and do the live stream at the same time. I guess I could have pushed a live stream back, but on a weeknight I figured it probably would have been a bad idea. And then, of course, that would be the one day that they go extra innings and it goes 15 innings or something. So I decided just to move it up a day onto Tuesday and just do it at the same time. Love it. I have an ebony board. Yeah. Connor Rocks, you're going to find that Kiesel makes one hell of a guitar. The necks are just phenomenal. And the fretwork, because they use stainless steel now for pretty much everything, even the standard frets are stainless steel. Those frets are so smooth, they just glide. I mean, it's unreal. And but as it turns out, due to a snafu, my ex is going out of town early tomorrow morning, which leaves my daughter having to stay with me, and So I've got to pick her up from dance and from school and everything else, which complicates and pretty much makes impossible me being able to go to the game. So I've had to put my tickets up for sale. So technically, I could have done the live stream tomorrow night after all. But, I mean, I'm not going to reschedule it after having already scheduled a week ahead. So we'll do it on Tuesday, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. So, hey, you know, if I get bored tomorrow night, maybe I'll just do an impromptu webcast tomorrow too. So, out of curiosity, so go ahead and solicit some of you guys' feedback. How's the image on the stream tonight? I did a couple of things with lighting and with the camera and everything else. So I don't know if this is actually gonna work. From my end, it looks pretty good, but I mean, I just wanted to get you guys' opinion and how it looks and sounds on your end over there. I actually bought a piece of equipment, I guess you could say, for live streaming, and I was going to originally use with my DSLR camera to hook it up and use it as a webcam, but I ran into some issues with the camera not wanting to stay running for more than 30 minutes, which of course is a problem for live streams. So then I decided to try it with the GoPro, and I was messing with it just a couple hours ago. I was like, well, I'll try the GoPro tonight using that little device into OBS and try to get it up on my live stream. And oh hell, it gave me all kinds of fits too, and I was like, you know what, forget it. Well, that's awesome, Connor. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, when you got really good equipment and good gear, it makes. I just realized I don't have my headphones on. It really does a big has a big impact on your being able to learn and play the instrument properly and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, you're gonna find, key seals are made to shred, pretty much. So, yeah. Let's see. So, before I go ahead and get started on the next section of my feedback and comments and everything else, I want to do some shout outs. So, one of the things I'm going to be doing on the show is I'm going to start giving people shout outs when they comment on videos, whether it's the live stream video on the replay or here on the live stream, and or if they comment on one of my videos that I release otherwise, I'm going to start doing shout outs to them during the first part of the Shred Geek show. So I'm going to do shout outs right now to Power Shot, and please forgive me, because I guess the lettering is in, I'm guessing, Russian or something. And Nabeen Bapa, he commented on one of my videos as well. Also, White Shadow 67, and of course Steve Contreras and Ben Coombs. All you guys reached out and commented and or subscribed in the last couple of weeks. So thank you guys so very much. Appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? So, as you know, I'm Peter. I'm the Shred Geek, and I'm all about guitars, gears, and home recording. And if you're into any of those, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, which is down now. No, I don't know. It's on one side or the other. I forget. It's in the bottom corner. So definitely check that out. So, we don't have any questions lined up for today. So if anyone in the chat has a question that they want me to go ahead and answer, go ahead and answer it too. That's something I plan on doing at each live stream. We'll do like a live FAQ. So you can kind of think it like the first part of my live streams to be like a FAQ video or whatever. So where it's not pre-edited or pre-cut or whatever. So if you have a question, I mean, if it's about guitars or gear, home recording or whatever, have at it. So very cool. So I'll give it another minute or so, because I know there's a delay in the chat coming from the live stream. And for the life of me, yeah. Well, let me shrink that down. Bear with me, I'm trying to adjust the screen over here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Very cool. Let me move this over. Oh, thanks. I just noticed your comment, Connor, on the picture looking good. So okay, thanks. I mean, from my end, it looks pretty good, but I didn't know with the stream if the quality starts going to shit or whatever over the course of the stream and everything else. So that's pretty good. What's my and Connor's asking what's my favorite metal subgenre? You know, I mean, for the most part, of my stuff I listen to the most is the instrumental stuff. So I mean, like Angel Vivaldi, Nita Strauss, Andy James. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Alter Bridge, just because I got them stuck in my head from when I was seeing all the videos on the Tremonti stuff, and that led me to that. And I guess one of the songs you were playing on the Paul Reed Smith demo or promo for that, I guess, was some Alter Bridge. And I mean, I just love the song, the music in the background. So I went ahead and I dug it up, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, this is good stuff." So I'm rocking out to that too. But I think in terms of like a sub genre, I would probably have to say my favorite subgenre would probably be symphonic metal. Stuff like, you know, Within Temptation, Epica, Rhapsody of Fire, back to the old Rhapsody. Who else? Amaranthi. Try to think who else. Oh, Avantasia. Oh my God, Avantasia. Yeah, I love Avantasia. I did an unboxing for their latest album, the collector's edition for Moonglow, which I'm going to link up in one of the cards right about over here. So make sure you go ahead and click on that card if you want to go check the review on it. Not the review, the unboxing. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so any other questions? Connor, did I answer your question about the metal subgenre? And I'll go on record and say this. I've always been like a big Yngwie fan, like from when I was first learning guitar. And I still remember waiting for a guitar lesson at the music store where I was taking guitar lessons. And I must have been like 11, 12, something like that. And, no, maybe 12, at least 12, 13, somewhere around there. And I remember I was waiting for a guitar lesson at this music store, which later closed down because the owner died, and kind of real sad. I was waiting for the guitar lesson, and he would get in Billboard magazine, and he would have it on his countertop, whatever, you know, those glass cases where they have all the pickups and stuff. So, and I'd be kind of just hanging around there waiting for, you know, my time to come up for my guitar lesson to go into the lesson rooms and start learning with my teacher. And he had a Billboard magazine, so I would sit there and flip through it, and there was an article in this one. This was probably like in 82, 83, yeah. And it was an article about, and they had a picture of him, and it was an article on Yngwie getting ready to release his shred masterpiece called Rising Force. He was 18. Blah, 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 blah. And you know the rest of the story. And from that point forward, I was kind of, in a way, I was like obsessed, you know, wanting to like, oh, I gotta hear this guy. I gotta hear this guy. And I finally tracked down the cassette, the tape, and was able to listen to it finally. But it took me months before I actually found it. Wasn't back in, you know, it's not like today where you could just go and listen on YouTube or download the music or whatever. So we had to actually buy the record back then, or the tape or whichever. So and then I started noticing after reading that article, because they had a picture of him on, you know, in the article as well, in the magazine. And then I started noticing him in all the guitar magazines. There were these ads for this Yngwie dude for DiMarzio pickups, and I was like, oh, this has got to be cool. So when I heard the album, my mind was blown. I was like, holy crap, are you kidding me? That's insane. So anyway, so I've been a big fan from Ingve from all the way back, from before he even, anything came back out here in the U.S. or whatever. And just lately, I've just like unfollowed him from all social media. Just because, he's such a pretentious prick that, if you follow like Angel Vivaldi or like Steve Vai or Eddie Van, no, maybe not Eddie Van Halen, I haven't read his stuff. But you follow some of these, like Nita Strauss, you follow some of these musicians online, and they might not be super interactive with you, but they'll talk about stuff, or they'll make points, or they'll offer some value, to your day, essentially. Maybe a joke or a meme, or just maybe something that they're doing or working on or whatever, just something really useful. Whereas Ingve or Ingve's people who manage his accounts or whatever, all they do is just self-promotion, all they do is just wanking his stuff out. It's like, he's got a new album out, he's got a new pickup out, he's got a new guitar out. Oh look, I'm playing his signature guitar. And it's all you see is all Ingve's signature stuff. And I'm like, you know what? If I wanted to see ads like that, I'd go to the website. Like, if you're not going to offer anything of value, then I'm not going to bother following you anymore. So anyway, I deep six him. So Ingve, if you're listening, fuck you. So, and actually, a few years ago, I went to go see him live here in Houston, and I actually got there super early, and I literally parked right beside the tour bus. And as I was getting out of my car and walking over toward the venue where the stage was, he actually came out of the bus with some other dude. And man, Ingve's tall as hell too, and plus he had those boots on or whatever. And I'm like, hey man, you mind if I get a picture with you? Or he's like, no, now's not a good time. I'm like, dude, it's like freaking 3 o'clock. You don't go on stage until like 8. I just got here because I didn't know the area. I wanted to make sure I got a good parking space or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Plus I was neurotic, right? So, like, okay, dude, that's cool. Yeah, maybe I'll catch you later. I'm just like, dude, you literally had nothing. You were just sitting there just joking and talking with this dude. You could have taken like a half a second for a freaking picture, but whatever. This was like, I don't know, 7 years ago, 8 years ago maybe. So I was just like, all right, dude, no problem. I got you. You're the maestro. It's all good. So anyway, so that's my Ingve story for today. I didn't wear my Ingve shirt today, obviously. So anyway, so no other questions. Then we'll move on to some news stuff. And I don't know if you guys would be interested in me talking about different news items or whatever. I don't follow a whole lot of news stuff in the... I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. Progressive metal. Yeah, exactly. But of course, in all the interviews, he's always about, oh yeah, the fans are why I do this and stuff like that or whatever. But I don't know. I think it's all about the money. Not that he'd be like Justin Bieber or nothing, but prog metal is good too. I used to be a big Dream Theater fan, but I guess some of the newer stuff I don't know, just hasn't grown on me a whole lot. Maybe I haven't listened to it enough. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm not really plugged into a lot of like the news items or whatever. I probably need to get a little bit better than that. But I'm not going to turn this into a news show and start giving you guys news that you guys could have seen otherwise. So, but I'll give you some news of stuff that's going on here, in my homeland, so to speak. So, the big thing I've been working with lately is video software, because I've started picking up my YouTube game. I've been spending a lot of time and energy on trying to up my YouTube game. You can tell by the gear now, and the sound quality, the video quality for the live streams, also for my actual videos on YouTube. You've got the my unboxings, my demos and stuff, and they're evolving, and in fact I think they're evolving fairly rapidly, and I'm learning a lot about how YouTube works on the back end to help improve my results as well. So I've been doing a lot of that. But one of the things I decided I wanted to start doing was up my video editing game, which my skills have been, for the most part, I think pretty good, but I always felt that they could be a little bit better, and maybe the tools I had probably weren't ideal. So I've really started hearing a lot about DaVinci Resolve and had made strides to actually get DaVinci Resolve, and I installed it. Excuse me. And I started messing with it, and of course there's a bit of a learning curve there, because I'm used to doing it a certain way, and of course their setup is a little bit different. Which I'm like, okay, well, it's going to take time, not a big deal. But then I'm like, well, you know, then I started having weird stuff happen, like the audio and the video would lose sync while you were playing, and I was like, well, this is strange. And then I've kind of found out what the deal was, and I was going to try to. There's a workaround which I was going to try, and just as I was planning to do the workaround, they came out with a new version, which apparently is a public beta. So I downloaded the public beta, and I couldn't even get it to open on my computer. And then I went ahead and I went back to the old one, and it also was giving me troubles of starting up. And that's the one thing about it, is like it was real glitchy in starting up. And I figured between that and then the learning curve, and then the audio video sync loss that I was having, I was like, you know what, F it. It's not worth the hassle anymore. I'll just go ahead and just upgrade what I have and go from there. So, for those that are interested, I'm actually using CyberLink's Power Director 16 is what I have currently, and I'm actually going to be upgrading probably tomorrow or the day after to their Director Suite 365, which is sort of CyberLink's answer to Adobe's Creative Cloud. So it's got, you know, the audio. Well, technically the audio is built into the video. So they've got like the photo editing. They got the all the different effects packs and all the After Effects type stuff and extra transition packs. And it's got the photo editing, and it's got the video editing, and it's got color correcting and color grading and the whole bit. So it's like pretty much all their stuff. And I'm going to do it on the subscription model, so I'm going to just pay the whole year and just go with it. And it's still a hell of a lot cheaper than if I did Adobe. And I can't say Adobe would necessarily be any more efficient for me. So I'm just going to go with it, because I've been, like I said, I've been using the Power Director stuff for, God, it's been years. I think the first version I started with them was probably version 9. So I've been on them for like 7 versions, which I guess is probably close to probably 11 years or so, probably more. So anyway, so that's what I'm, I've been kind of occupying myself with, looking at different video programs, and then of course studying YouTube and all that other stuff. And I've got a couple of plans currently for a couple of video series. So one I had started, in fact, if you look on my YouTube channel way back, I have this series of videos called the Atlantis Chronicles, I believe was the name of it. So what those series of videos were basically was, I was in the process of writing and recording my CD, the Atlantis Suite, and I decided I would make a behind-the-scenes video series that showed me working on it, showed me working on the music and recording it and all that other stuff, and I would then put it up for YouTube for people to see, the recording process basically in action, so to speak. And I thought it'd be a nice little aspect to throw in there when the album comes out, that people would be able to see it, kind of at the various stages. So, but just like the album never came out, I never finished that series, and that also was the same thing happened with the Tone Kings project I was working on with them on the Making Music with TTK. So all that BS kind of blew up all at the same time. So, but I've downsized, so that's no longer an issue. But I'm planning to redo that series. It's going to be called something else. And another thing I'm actually wanting to do, and let's just say it's recording based, but I'm not exactly sure to what end or how I'm going to do it. I'm thinking I'm just going to make it as a generic recording series, not tied down to a specific program. So if you're listening to this, please do me a favor, comment down below and let me know which digital audio workstation you're using. Are you using Cubase? Are you using Pro Tools? Are you using Sonar, or what's it called now? It's BandLab, Sonar. I don't know, a Sonar by BandLab or something to that effect. Are you using Studio One? Are you using Logic or whatever? Let me know in the comments down below which one you guys are using. Because if I've got an overwhelming amount of people that say they use Pro Tools or whatever, then maybe I'll make the series and I'll base it kind of lightly on Pro Tools. Although I think most of the concepts and stuff that I'll be doing in this video series are more generic in terms of, it's the general techniques in, overall rather than specifically. This is how you record armor track in Pro Tools or in Sonar or in Logic or whatever. But rather than being the specifics, because you can always read the manual, you can watch other videos on YouTube to do that. So I thought it would be really, really cool to have some juicy tidbits, so to speak, of recording and the process of recording, and do it as like a weekly, maybe like a weekly series. And what I'll do is I might add it to my video rotation instead of throwing it in on a Monday. Have it every Friday. I'll have like a quick little video, Let me check the chat. Let's see. Yeah, Canon, Connor Rocks, I'm sorry. Need to buy a camera. You know what? I mean, you could probably do, rather than going spending crazy money on a camera, go ahead and cut your teeth first. Go ahead and cut your teeth. Go ahead and cut your teeth first on, use your own phone. I mean, you probably have like an iPhone or an Android phone or something to that effect. And they actually have pretty decent cameras. You could actually do very well on using, your mobile phone to do, simple videos on YouTube. And then if you, like, for example, let's say you have an iPhone, you could then even get iMovie for your iPhone. You can even get a iMovie for your iPhone, and you do all the editing of the video right there on your phone. You even need to, shoot over to a computer. Or if you're on Android, there's other programs you can use on Android. Or you can even use Power Director. I think you can get Power Director, the video editing software. I think you can actually get that on iOS and Android as well. But on a computer, it only runs on Windows. It's a Windows program. Cut your teeth first on doing, using your phone, and then go from there. You could easily spend crazy amounts of money on a camera. I had used a cheap camcorder. I had an HD. It would do like full HD or whatever. And I used that. Almost all my old videos were done with a camcorder, and then I would just download all the take the memory card out, pop it in my computer, download it, and do all the editing in Power Director from there. And I think the camcorder literally cost me like $3.99. You don't need all the bells and whistles, as long as it does full HD and whatever. The big thing though is make sure your lighting's good. So if you don't want to spend a bunch on lighting, make sure you have a nice room in the house that's got some good outdoor lighting, some sunlight or whatever that fills the room. So this way you can, leverage the light from the sun to help with the lighting in your videos, because that makes a big difference. When the lighting is really terrible, the cameras or the camcorders or whatever have to crank up the gain on the exposures or something, or I forget what they call it. And what happens is it begins granulating the image to compensate for the low lighting, so you'll be able to see it. When that happens, your image quality just goes to crap. So make sure the lighting is really, really good. That's the big thing. And then, of course, your audio. I mean, do the best you can. If it's an iPhone or whatever, you might be all right. But if you start getting into other cameras, you can get, and you can search YouTube. There's a whole bunch of tips on how to do that. There's a like a $20 lapel mic thing by Audio Technica thing on Amazon for like $20, and it's got a long ass cord, so you can just plug it into your camera or to your camcorder, put the lapel on you, and it'll record your voice just great. And I mean, it's not wireless or anything, but it'll give you a good recording, and it's dirt cheap. So definitely something to keep in mind. Yeah, you could use Audacity. That's fine for your audio editing and stuff like that, and it is free and it is easy. But if you start getting into like all the multi-track stuff for like recording, that's I think Audacity is not gonna be enough for you. Like if you want to do like a play demo and you want to have drums and bass and all that other stuff, you're going to need more than Audacity, I think. I don't think Audacity will only do like a couple of tracks or 3 tracks or whatever. So it's real limited, I think, in terms of its multi-track capability. So you probably need to do like, you can get like Pro Tools first or Studio 1.4. I think they have like a free version as well. Sonar, of course, I don't think even costs anything anymore. So you can go to BandLab's website or just search Sonar by BandLab. Man, I think that's the name of it. I got it here somewhere. Cakewalk. Oh, it's called Cakewalk by BandLab. Okay, not Sonar. That's what it's been called for years. Harrison Mixbus is a great DAW as well. Really inexpensive, and it sounds freaking amazing. And then yeah, investing in software. So, it is what it is. So, I mean, but you can really get some pretty good results on, for not a whole lot of money investment. So, search YouTube. YouTube is your friend in this regard, and you'll be able to learn a whole ton of stuff. So, for sure. And the way I look at it is this. There's 2 real currencies in life. One is time, and the other one is money. And you can only get one for trading for the other. So, if you don't have a lot of money, then it's gonna usually take you longer to do something. If you don't have a lot of time to do it and you need it done like fast, then it's gonna cost you more. So just FYI. And that pretty much holds true in just about any realm of life. So anyway, so let's see. So I got those video series kind of planned. And that's all I had kind of for like rap, for newses and stuff. So newses, is that even a word? So let me go ahead and fire up the 11 rack. So, ooh, give me a second here. So just real quick, so the 11 rack is, and I thought it was real. I had a recommendation from. Oh my God, I forgot who told me to excuse me. Ah, very cool. Yes, this is the Jason Becker Osiris, and oh, you're welcome, Connor Rocks. So the 11 rack, and one of the reasons someone recommended to me last live stream to use it for this show, and so I gladly obliged. And I think it's a great segue because I recently picked up the Headrush gig board, and the Headrush gig board is using what's called 11 expanded software, which is basically they've taken the source code and all the modeling data from the 11 rack, and then they basically upped the ante and raised it to like a 64-bit level or whatever but they had all the raw data, I guess, from the original modeling, and were able to basically increase the accuracy, and they were able to do things to the data that just wasn't possible back when the 11 rack first came out in 2009. So they had all the original data and raw sampling or whatever, and they just ran with it, and they just amplified its results to the nth degree. And then the software for it was just off the charts. It's just real simple. It's just like your cell phone. It's real like point and click and drag and this and that, and it's like using your cell phone on the touch screen, which of course the 11 rack doesn't do. It's it's the 11 rack. Oop. So the 11 rack came out in 2009. It was originally by Digi Design, who then later changed their name to Avid or got absorbed by Avid or whatever. And it's basically a recording interface / guitar modeling processor. So you've got a mic preamp on one side with phantom power and and the input pad as well in case it's got a really hot signal going in. And then it's got a cornucopia of watch my other video, and of other output options. So you could you got like XLRs out, you got 1/4 inch outs, and all kinds of stuff. So, and then you've got at the heart of it, you've got the whole modeling section. So it's got like, I don't know, like 20 or 20 something amps, whole bunch of effects pedals, and all modeled and stuff. It's got cabinets and the reverbs and the whole bit. So hopefully you can make it out on the little camera right down, the little camera, the Shred Cam right down here, where you'll be able to see all the screen. And I've got a patch called the Shred Geek. So, that's that patch. Let me kind of scroll around. So this one's called Texas Nexus. Let me try to just kind of scooch this down. I'm not going to mess with it. It's just going to end up falling off. And I just turned the bright switch off. Alrighty. String King. This is using a DC Martin, which I think is modeled after like one of the, I think a Mach 5 or Mach 4. So with the 11 rack, you've got all these like presets set up. They're called rigs. So you can basically program in the signal chain, kind of like you would on a typical modeler, you know, a boost pedal or a preamp or pre-pedal before the amp. You got the amp, you select the amp that you want, then you can select the cabinet that you want and the microphone that goes on the cabinet, and you can adjust the positioning of it, off axis, on the cone, whatever. Then you could also put in, like, you know, other effects, you know, stereo reverb, stereo chorus, phaser, blah, blah, blah. There's even a wah thing in there too. And of course the modeling processor is completely MIDI aware. So if you plug in like a MIDI floorboard, which I actually have a Behringer FCB 1010, which is all the switches. It's got the 2 expression pedals. Hook it up with MIDI to the 11 rack, and then you can even use the expression pedals as a wah pedal on the patch, and you can change your rigs right there on the floorboard, the whole bit. It's pretty slick. I'm actually going to try to use that floorboard. This is crazy, okay? So I'm actually going to try to use that floorboard and plug it into the head rush, and see if I can use the expression pedals on the floorboard with the head rush, because the head rush has got the switches to change all the channels and whatnot, but it doesn't have enough switches if you want to like turn effects on and off and change channels, and then also have a thing for the expression pedal. But yeah, I mean, there's an external output to plug in an expression pedal, but the floorboard already has 2, and if it all works by MIDI anyway, I don't see why you couldn't hook up another external MIDI device to send MIDI commands to do the same thing. So I'm going to try that. That's probably a video right there, right? So so let me go ahead and play around with some of the stuff on this. All right, Connor Rocks, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. So like on this patch here, you have 7-string King. Oh, I just noticed it had 7 in front, so it probably worked great with my other Osiris, the 7-string. So we got the gain turned up. I don't know if you can see it on the Shred cam. I just turned the gain down to 2.4. All right, man. Have a good night. Now, if you'll notice, since I switched the actual gain knob down, the little light on the little slot there on the actual knob actually turned red from the original orange. So whenever you move the original knob from its original position that's saved in the preset already, the 11 rack notifies you by turning that knob red. This way you know. And I just put it back in it where it was, and now it turned back to orange. So you can also change the where is it? So then you can hit the edit. Excuse me. You can hit the edit switch, and then you can go in and edit the actual signal chain. So right now I just went. You have your input. See if you can hear me. So you've got your input, and you can scroll, and it says over here True Z, and I'll get into that here in a second. Then you have your volume pedal, then it goes to a wah, which is programmed for a shine one. I want to change the wah type. I could just go over here and scroll that knob, and it will actually change the wah to a different type. I think they have like a Vox wah or the Crybaby wah, or whatever. There's a selection of different wah pedals that they actually have. And then keep going. And then it's going to. Now here's my distortion pedal, which is set to a green JRCOD, which is modeled after a tube screamer. Effects 1, which is set to flange. Then I have mod pedal, which is set to an orange phaser. Then it goes to the amp, which is that DC modern. Then the cabinet, which is set to a 4x12 with classic 30s, using a condenser 67 mic. And then it has a FX loop. So I've got the effects loop where I can actually then put, there's an effects loop on the 11 rack as well. So if I had other effects, I could stick them in the effects loop and turn it on and off with the MIDI commands on the floorboard or whatever. And then I go to there's a tape echo, then a C1 chorus vibrato, then a reverb, which is the 11 SR, which I'm not sure, it's like a studio reverb. And then here's your output, and there's your output settings or whatever that goes back out. And then back to the original edit screen. So, and then of course you got all your knobs on the front, which is really cool with the 11 rack, is that a lot of the modelers, like all the settings, are actually through like menus. So if you want to like edit this bass or gain or channel volume or whatever on a particular preset, sometimes you have to go into different menus to sit there and tweak everything. Whereas on the 11 rack, they put all the knobs right on the front, so it's just like tweaking an amp. Just reach down and adjust the gain, more gain. But now if you need to go into like the effects pedals, and you've got to go in and go into the menu to access it, then you can actually change the actual settings with the knobs, but you have to get into the menu to pull the actual item up, the tube screamer or whatever. You got to pull it up. So let's go to the tube screamer right here. Hit edit. Oh, I messed something up. Controls. There we go. So now here I've got the knob for the drive, the tone, and the level. And you notice these are now set to green. So if I change it, it's going to change color again. See, now it's turned to red. If I move it back to where it was, whoop, where are you? Oh, you're going to make me a liar, aren't you? Dang it. Oh, right here. Okay, yeah. So the level's set to 7.6. So, and if you wanted to bypass it, see it's got the little bypass thing lit up here. So I just press that, and now it's not bypassed. And then just back out. I'm not going to change anything. So then let me go find another preset. May Looper. No idea. I don't know, man. I'm just jacking around here. Echo Champs. We're using a black Mini. Irish Echo. Volcanic. I wonder if this is modeled after Eruption. Oh my god, I haven't played that in so long. I'm definitely not Eddie Van Halen. What the hell was that? That's wacky. What the crap? I can get crazy with this stuff. So yeah, I'm just scrolling through the different presets. Now, incidentally, Avid later came out with a plug-in version of the 11 rack, and they called it 11 Mach 2, I believe. And it was based on the software for the 11 rack 2.0, which added some extra models and stuff like that. But then they had it in a plug-in form, so then you could technically use the 11 rack without having an 11 rack. But I think the plug-in cost about almost as much as the 11 rack did itself, so it's kind of pricey. But I will say this. I had the 11 rack now for, I don't know, I had it for a few years. 4 years, 5 years. Excuse me. I forget exactly when I got it. But when I got it, it still came bundled with Pro Tools. In fact, when I got it, it was Pro Tools 12 was the new version out. And I think they're up to, well, now they've changed it to now they label it by the year and the month or the quarter of release or whatever. Maybe it's been 3 or 4 years. So, anyway, so the 11 rack when I bought it was $6.99. And if you were to buy Pro Tools at that point, at that same period of time, by itself, it was $6.99. And the 11 rack came with a full license for Pro Tools. So I'm like, okay, well, technically I can say I'm buying Pro Tools and I got the 11 rack for free. Or I can say I bought the 11 rack and got Pro Tools for free. But, I mean, it worked out the same either way. So, so I've got Pro Tools and that's how I got it because I got it free with the 11 rack. But I've never maintained a license or whatever. So my license is expired on it or whatever. I mean, I can use it, I can install it, and I can update it to the limit of whatever they updated it with during my license period for that full year. So I think the highest I can go is 12.5.1 or whatever the last version was that they had. Anything beyond that, then I would have to, renew my license and spend another, $200 or whatever the heck it was. So, anyway, so that's why I got it. Now, the price on the 11 rack has come down considerably. I mean, I've seen it for sale for $2.99 or even $3.99. But I actually checked Avid's website just last night, and they showed $4.99. And incidentally, they still showed that it comes with Pro Tools, because I know for a while when they decreased the price, it was coming with Pro Tools first, which is like the free version that only does like 16 tracks total, and it's limited by a whole bunch of things on it or whatever. But if you can get it to include Pro Tools with it, I mean, you can use this live. Throw it into the back, throw it into a power amp, and you've got yourself. Or you just go straight front of house. Take the XLRs out, send it to your mixer, and you've got yourself a live sound. And it's got like 120. I'd have to count it. There's like because they do by banks of 4, and then it's all these letters. So it's probably got at least 100 presets. It's got user, and it's also got the factory. So the factory ones you can't change. The user ones you can save. You can overwrite them and change it whatever you want. And plus you can also use it as a recording interface. So you've got a recording interface. It's got actually got a mic preamp, so you can plug a microphone into it and actually sing into it while you're playing, and it'll record both at the same time. It connects to your computer with USB 2, I believe. So you've got a recording interface, you've got a guitar modeler built in, you can use it live, send it to front of house, plug it into a power amp with a cabinet, or full range straight out with the PA system. You program your presets. It's got a whole bunch of sounds. They sound really good. I mean, you compare it to like a XFX 3 or 5 or 10 or whatever they're up to now, or a Kemper or whatever, or even like the Head Rush. Yeah, those are going to sound a little bit more refined, a little bit more modern. But, I mean, this still sounds pretty good. I'm going to go back to my other preset. The Shred Geek. Yeah. And this is modeled, I think, after a Bogner. And it's got a tube screamer in the front, wah pedal, volume, phaser, which is turned off. Then the amp, which is the Bogner. Yeah, RB, which is for Reinhold Bogner. 2x12 with B30. I don't know what B30 is. FX loop, which is turned off. Then the comp, parametric EQ, delay, reverb, and then to the output. Well, there you have it, the 11 rack. You know, it's funny. I never had done hold please. I'd never done a video on the 11 rack but you know, truth be told, there was a bunch of stuff I never got a chance to do videos on either, because of my past situation. So yeah, that hopefully that'll all change. So anyway, so for right now, the next webcast in 2 weeks is hold on a second. Here we go. So yeah, be sure you guys hit subscribe, and you can follow me on my social media over here. So for my next webcast, you know, in like 2 weeks from tomorrow, at least that's the scheduled plan. Want to go ahead and look at another piece of gear. So I'm thinking, and this is very interactive, and I value y'all's opinion, you guys' opinions. Let's leave the y'all stuff out. I know I live in Texas, but there's no excuse for that. And no, I wanted to go ahead and get a sense for what would be pretty cool. So I'm thinking, since we just did the 11 rack, that maybe I can follow up with the second generation and put the head rush in here. But I've also got, you know, the Paul Reed Smith MT-15. That would be a pretty cool little unit. You know, maybe I could do a guitar instead, or who knows. So anyway, so I would appreciate you guys go ahead and hit subscribe, and go ahead and comment down below and let me know what piece of gear, what piece of kit or whatever that you'd like to see me do. I mean, I got a whole bunch of stuff. You've probably seen some of it in my videos or whatever. Or if you have a suggestion for something else, just shoot it on down below. Let me know. I'd appreciate it. And again, anyone who hits subscribe will get a call out at the next webcast, and comments as well. So, you know, be sure to leave comments and subscribe and all that good stuff, and you'll get a call out on the next show. And gosh, I think that's it. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for coming out and hanging out with the Shred Geek, and for watching my little demo on the Avid 11 rack. So be sure to stay tuned and follow me on social media, as you can see over here. I'm going to get these things right one of these days. And stay tuned for my next video, which, of course, all the channel videos right now come out on Mondays, and the Shred Geek show every other Wednesday. So starting 2 weeks from tomorrow, should be back on Wednesdays again. But I mean, I might look at possibly moving to day 2, but stay tuned, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated. I'm not going to just blindly just change it out of the blue. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I got. Peter J. Cruz signing out from NASA Studios in Houston, Texas. The Shred Geek Show live. Rock on, guys, and we'll catch you later.